Question number 1, Johann Lamont.
Thank you very much, Presiding Officer. To ask the First Minister what engagements he has planned for the rest of the day.
First Minister.
Well, later today I will have meetings to take forward the Government's programme for Scotland.
Johann Lamont.
Thank you very much. Presiding Officer, we all continue to be shocked at the revelations coming from the Leveson inquiry about phone hacking, payoffs and the inappropriate relationship between journalists, police and politicians. I think it would be naive for us to dismiss these as London practices that stop at the border. So can the First Minister outline what steps have been taken to learn from the Leveson inquiry, and did he discuss this when he last spoke with the Chief Executive Officer of News International, Rupert Murdoch?
First Minister.
Well, there was a statement released yesterday on the meeting I had with the Chairman of News Corporation, Rupert Murdoch, yesterday. That I think, in terms of meetings with Rupert Murdoch, to have an open statement saying what was discussed is probably a pleasant change from past practice in the Labour Party. But can I say, to take the serious point, because in terms of the Scottish input into Leveson, Johann Lamont should know that the Chief Constable of Strathclyde will be appearing at the Leveson inquiry later this month to talk specifically about the Scottish Police Force liaison, because I strongly support the police action that's been taken, just as I support the Leveson inquiry itself. And she also should know, and I think it's important that she says we must assume that Scottish aspects, but I think it's also important to remember that in terms of the widespread malpractice across the press reported by the Information Commissioner at the end of 2006, that while a range of newspapers and newspaper groups was involved, and I'll gladly place the information in spice, it is also true to say there were very few Scottish examples and indeed regional press examples from England. So while we have to be vigilant, and it's quite right and proper that Strathclyde Police are pursuing this and appearing at the Leveson inquiry, I think it's also fair to say that the evidence we have so far means that that cooperation is the way we should go at the present moment. But we stand ready and willing to act, because I think the criminal law must be upheld north and south of the border.
Johann Lamont.
Fine words also have to be tested against the action that we take, First Minister, because of course we know that the police are not the only people who leak stories to Rupert Murdoch. The first edition of The Sun on Sunday revealed the date of the referendum. Saturday, October the 18th, 2014, citing a government source. For the sake of a front-page splash, the date was leaked before the consultation is completed, before this Parliament was told, and before the people of Scotland have their say. Has the First Minister, who of course wrote a column in the paper's first edition, thought who might possibly have been the source of such a mutually serving leak? What steps has the First Minister taken to determine the source of that leak?
First Minister.
Of course, we never ever encounter a situation where a Labour politician had a column in the Sun newspaper. But can I, to take the serious point, can I direct Johann Lamont to my remarks on the radio on Sunday morning, and I'll quote them exactly. It is a possible date, of course, because we said it would be in the autumn of 2014. But we also said we are considering a Saturday as opposed to a Thursday to increase turnout. But we're only a month into a 3-month consultation. I think the last check I've made, we've got 2,700 responses already, so we're heading towards perhaps upwards of 10,000 responses to the consultation. Once all these are in and analysed, then we'll announce what the date will be, not until after the consultation. That's what I said last Sunday, and that still pertains today.
Johann Lamont.
I'm sure in the First Minister's world that sounds very believable. It is testing credulity to a point of destruction. For just a few weeks ago, I read out the First Minister's cringe-worthy letter to Fred Goodwin, backing the deal that broke the bank. We are also reminded this week how far the First Minister was prepared to go to accommodate Donald Trump. That didn't end well, although apparently, First Minister, he still likes you. And I won't embarrass the First Minister by reading out his musings to Rupert Murdoch, or Sir Rupert, as the First Minister likes to address him. But it seems he has finally learned that theatre tickets and golf DVDs won't get a reply, but a good exclusive will. The editor of The Sun, despite what the First Minister says, the editor of The Sun says it's the 18th of October 2014. He is so sure, he told Twitter, quote, "See what odds you can get on it. We are right." Is the First Minister saying that the editor of The Sun is wrong?
First Minister.
The First Minister is saying that Johann Lamont is wrong. The position is, as I've read it a few seconds ago. Can I say to Johann Lamont, I don't know if citing Donald Trump is the strongest suit at the present moment. As I understand it, that the ire of Donald Trump seems to have been created because he believes he was given an assurance by my predecessor, Lord McConnell, not a lord at that stage, that he would be blocking planning permission for the test wind farm off Aberdeen. Now, I have no way of knowing if such an assurance was given, but if it was given, it shouldn't have been given, because First Ministers can't determine the wind farm applications of Scotland. I think, incidentally, there's a serious issue in terms of the renewable investment in Scotland. Front page of the Press and Journal today citing the thousands of jobs that are being created towards the drive towards renewables. And I hope as we progress that argument against whoever might be criticising it, then we'll have the support of Johann Lamont and our colleagues, even if we can't count on the support of Lord McConnell. In terms of relationships with newspapers, I'm trying to be extremely restrained about this so far, but I have to now read out the attendance at News International's summer party. A News International's summer party in London on Thursday night. Guests included David and Samantha Cannon, drank Moet and Shandon champagne and ate oysters. Labour leader Ed Miliband, Shadow Chancellor Ed Balls, sheltered from the inclement weather in a giant canopy in the Orangery in Kensington. Now, I've got to say that given the enthusiasm for drinking the champagne and eating the oysters, incidentally, all you get in Butte House is a cup of tea and a Tunnock's caramel waver. Given the enthusiasm for drinking the champagne and eating the oysters from the Labour Party leadership, some people might think there's more than a trend of double standards emanating from the People's Party.
Johann Lamont.
I think the First Minister's restraint is admirable. But in the middle of all of that, I don't think we got an answer. And simply asserting that I am wrong does not dispute the fact that the editor of The Sun says that he is right, and that the First Minister is trying to make people believe that the exclusive in The Sun had nothing to do with him and his defensives. It wasn't me, and it wasn't just me. It will not do. They say you can tell, I think, a lot about a man by the company he keeps. So what does it say about the First Minister's judgment? If he is prepared... If he is prepared to compromise the referendum for Sir Rupert, compromise our planning system for the Trump, and compromise Scotland's economic future for Fred the Shred. And I think, First Minister, we all know that Sir Rupert ran with Sunday's story on the First Minister's nod. So after 5 years of asking, will he simply confirm what date he actually intends to hold the referendum? Just name the date.
First Minister.
Well, I think I'll stick to the position of having the consultation with the Scottish people. And I should update Johann Lamont. There are now more than 3,000 responses to that consultation. Then we'll consider the consultation and the responses. Well, we haven't had one from the Labour Party yet, although I understand they have submitted to the Tory Liberal coalition government's consultation. No great surprise there. The Labour-Tory alliance continues right through Westminster, in this chamber, even into Stirling Council in the last week. So we'll have the consultation, and then we'll announce the date, and it will be determined, of course, by this Parliament in the best interests of the Scottish people. I have to say to Johann Lamont, the remark about the company we choose, it seems an extraordinarily rich one from a Labour Party that pursued a 15-year courtship of News International, and then only then decided that there was dreadful things going on after the Sun stopped supporting the Labour Party in politics. Hardly a position of high principle. The serious issue for all of us is to back the police inquiries, back the Leveson inquiry. But I do think it comes amiss from a party which, according to the past Prime Minister, knew about these activities from 2007. That's what he said in his comment speech last year, who still consumed the champagne and the oysters, to now attack a meeting determining the jobs and the economic footprint of Scotland with no champagne and no oysters. Once there is a police inquiry, a Leveson inquiry, and quite rightly, News International have said they'll put these past practices behind them. So the Labour Party, prepared to support and quote newspapers when they knew of malpractice, is in no position to criticise anyone in this chamber or across the body politic.